What's up, guys? Welcome back to another rousing episode of The Nerd Life. I am your host, Chris Kiku Kubiak. Kiku because I'm kooky? Cookie?
Kooky for Kiku.
That would be it. We're going to make a cereal. Brand it. Today, my guest is Jeremy G. Branch. The G stands for generous.
What's up, everybody? How we doing? Glad to be here, Chris. Thank you.
No, you're
I'm
welcome.
excited about this series, and you've got some great guests already.
Sure.
Here on Nerd Life. You talked to Julio Diaz from not only the P&J, but he was a moderator at Pensacon. He used to cover all sorts of cool bands, so if you guys are watching this video, go check that one out as well.
For sure. Jeremy is a brother of mine in podcasting. He is the owner-proprietor of Be Terrible Productions, most notably for the Weekly Pop Movie Podcast, which still you need to shorten that name up. It's such a mouthful.
Do you think the Weekly Pop Movie Podcasts?
I think we just go, pop! Cast.
Yeah.
Pop! You gotta get the fist.
Oh yeah, take the podcast out of it and make it a podcast.
Popcast. Yeah!
The Weekly Popcast.
The weekly, yeah.
It's not bad.
That's not bad.
No,
Things we come up with when we're supposed to be doing an interview. So Jeremy, you mainly focus on film for your show, all the trivia stuff you do on your channel, a ton of movie reviews. Why film? Like, why did you get into film?
There was about a 3 to 5 year stint where I just got so into going and getting movies from Blockbuster. I honestly believe that if I watched enough of them, I could like soak in the knowledge of all these filmmakers and make my own movie sometime. But I just love talking about them. I mean, that's something that like, if you are like super passionate about one thing and you have these very specific interests, a lot of times it's hard to find people like in your local community that are willing to go to that place with you. And that's why the internet is really cool, because the community is so much larger than that. And then once I started doing it, I realized there actually is a local community, there actually is a local scene, and Julio actually facilitates that with the P&J Movie Club.
Sure.
They go every Thursday and check out movies. I've gone to do that a couple times, but yeah, for me, movies are just something I know, so I can just go on and on about it. You know, it's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. I've done a movie review with you before, and I enjoyed the process, obviously, since you're here now. I wasn't like, yeah, not this guy ever again. But how long have you been doing the Weekly Pop?
I started everything in 2015, like right at the beginning of the new year. I started the podcast maybe 4 months after that, and it's kind of crazy because we've gone through a lot of changes. We got to like episode 30 the first time, and I was like, I want to relaunch. We went back to episode 1, got some episodes, and it's just been a process of evolving, trying to find what works the best, not only for me, but for the viewers as well, and finding that balance. But podcasting is a lot of fun. I mean, it's something that I enjoy getting up regularly and doing. And it's a place where I can force people to sit down and fucking listen to me for an hour straight. Ramble on. No, I'm just kidding.
He goes to people's houses and he straps them to a chair and he's like, you're going to listen. I have thoughts and ideas.
We did the Witch review, which is one of the better performing videos on my YouTube channel. It's got a lot of positive response, but that was fun. I don't know that we saw the movie together, but I think we've both just seen it.
Yeah, it was, I think we saw it like within an hour or two of each other, and we were like, no, we need to talk about this.
Yeah,
for sure. Talk about it. It's a good art piece, very definitely. So, with you being based here in Pensacola, right, as you've expanded the Weekly Pop Movie Podcast, what things have you done to really get your name out there for Pensacola?
The community here in Pensacola has really gotten big within the past couple years. You guys were mentioning it yesterday. So the way that I was lucky enough to get in contact with the people at Pensacon, we were able to moderate a couple events, so the community has really backed us up, because there's not a lot of people in the area who are doing podcasting. I mean, there's us, there's the Nerd Cave Network, there's Neek the Podcast, and with the outside of those three, you know, there's a couple of other people that I know, but it seems like we're the most active and the ones who are hungry about getting our names out there. I've got a group on Facebook, it's hashtag Team Terrible. It's a lot of fun. We go in there and the focus is on movies, but people talk about all sorts of shit. And that's fun, just because it's like, even if these people are casually interested in it, when that thing hits them, you know, like, I just saw this trailer that I really like, they know where to go and talk about that. But yeah, Pensacon has been really supportive of not only what I'm doing, but of what we're all doing,
Sure.
and that's been really cool. And then maybe a little further down the road, something that I've thought about doing, something that I want to do is like movie screenings, particularly older, either cult movies or classic movies.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be fun. But until I can guarantee that I'm not going to have to eat it, then I'm kind of like waiting, you know, for the right time.
Maybe hook up with Julio,
Mhm.
like a retro PNJ, Be Terrible PNJ.
It's not a bad idea.
Sounds like a sandwich. I don't know, I'm really bad deli.
Peanut butter, Nutella, and jelly.
A terrible one. Absolutely terrible. Like, they warn you about it. They're like, you do know this is bad, right? Like, it's terrible. I'll take it, sir. How much? $12? That's a lot for a sandwich. So, what do you have planned for Be Terrible in the future? Like, to grow it, to make it bigger, to get more people?
Oh God, I gotta have a plan.
5-year plan. Give it to me right now.
Oh man, I plan on staying in as good of graces with the local convention as I can. I did hit a lot of conventions in the area, but it gets to be expensive. So it's like, for right now, we're focusing on building the online brand. I've put a lot of eggs into the reviewing basket because I can do that on my own. I can do it as regularly as possible, and it just keeps me, you know, able to articulate my thoughts. Keeps me up to speed, practiced and stuff. So even if they're older movies, which I've been doing a lot of lately, it's an opportunity for me to articulate myself, to be in front of a camera, and to get that experience. Because even after 2 years, I'm still so aware of the camera. You know what I mean? I just can't get over it.
So recently, though, you're saying you're doing older movies. I know for a fact that you did an X-Men First Class review.
I did.
Not going too well, huh?
Interesting things. For any of you that are content creators out there, I'm sure that you have an awesome story of your own.
Right.
I used 30 seconds consecutive of film from Fox, talked over the whole thing, no audio track from the video clip that I used. And the whole video was made up of clips, but I was real careful to cut them down into like 15-second things,
Right.
so I didn't get any grief. But yeah, I got my first copyright claim, and I appealed it, because we are protected under parody, you know, fair use, if any of you guys are familiar with the legal jargon. But we'll see what happens. I'm in this weird waiting period right now. I check back every day and I'm like, this is not going to go good. They're going to shut down my whole YouTube channel over this one stupid video.
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny, though. You would figure they would be okay with it because you're celebrating it as opposed to trying to use it for profit.
Right.
I mean, no offense to you, obviously, you don't have enough viewers
No,
to,
right.
to make money off of the channel. I know I don't have enough viewers. I think 3 people subscribe to my channel. Other people check in from time to time. But, I mean, that's just something you would figure that they would be like, oh, okay, cool, it's just another review.
Yeah, like, I'm not denting their pockets over at Fox
Right.
with my couple hundred views on the video. But it's interesting because it's all an algorithm, you know, like so much of social media. Like, if, for example, if you report somebody on Facebook, they have automatic steps that the computer itself goes through. Right. So I don't know how they identified the metadata in that little piece, but yeah, what you said is right, and that's how I always felt, is like, not only, even if you're bashing the movie, all press is good press, right? I mean, it's all advertising for it. Obviously, even when we do shit on parts of movies, it's like, I try to appreciate the good in all of it, because nobody sets out to make a bad movie. People spend years and sometimes millions of dollars on these things.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
Millions of dollars.
So you try to find the good and the bad and not just indiscriminately be like, oh, it sucks, and just dismiss it outright. I mean, there have been a couple movies that I saw. One had Vince Vaughn in it, and it came out like a couple, I want to say it was called The Intern.
Oh, yeah. The Interns, and it had Owen Wilson in it.
Yeah, that was one of them. And then Fantastic Four was another one of them. And these are 2 movies that I've seen in the past 2 years that I've had very little good to say about. But most of the time I try to find
Something.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, is that why you do what you do though? Is it like a celebration for the thing that you're the most
yeah.
passionate about?
Yeah, absolutely. I do feel like eventually I'd like to start hitting on my own IP. I mean, that's something that we've talked about. But yeah, it's a celebration, and for Be Terrible Movies on YouTube, the focus has always been trying to pull you into movies. Like, even if you're not a huge movie fan, ideally you can go and be like, what is it that this critic is looking for? And I can explain it in a way that makes sense, because I'm not one of those people who gets real lofty with my language. I'm trying to almost like film school fundamentals teach people from square one.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, we talked about that before, and I said
Mm-hmm.
you bring it kind of down to a layman level, more,
Mm-hmm.
you know, regular vernacular, but still describing, I guess, the much more critical way of how to view a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's kind of hard when you're talking to, you know, somebody who's not a big fan of these things, and you're like, well, I didn't really like the specific angle and lighting they used in this, and then they're just like, you need to calm down.
Right, right.
Just stop.
And that's an interesting thing, because a lot of times I'll score a movie higher than I liked it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Like,
because the
what we
technical
do-
aspect, right, is
right,
better. Okay.
exactly. So a movie like Bridge of Spies, technically a very well done film, kind of boring. I mean, and I love Steven Spielberg, but I would rate that movie higher than something like What We Do in the Shadows, because there were some problems in the structure of What We Do in the Shadows. But with that being said, I'd rather watch a vampire comedy than a spy drama that's a period piece. You know, it's just more my personal preference. So,
Well, speaking of your personal preference, what's your favorite movie all time?
oh man, that is so hard. I've got a couple that I go to. All-time favorites: The Crow, Tombstone, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, early Quentin Tarantino. I love Martin Scorsese, all of his stuff.
Yeah.
I love gangster movies, and I've never seen The Godfather, which is like, what? Film buff, credibility out the window.
There is a window right there.
But I'll watch it when I have whatever it is, like 3.5 hours.
Well, there's three of them.
2 of them. No, there actually is 3.
You kind of have to see the third one once, and then after that you can dismiss it. You know, it's like going to see Wolverine, right?
Right.
X-Men Origins,
Uh-huh.
and you're, you know, people are like, oh, that movie didn't exist. Well, did you see it? Well, no. Well, then you can't say anything, right? I have seen it. It does not exist. We dismiss this movie.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch The Godfather, because that's one of the movies that, like, not I would say is the best movie, but almost the community at large would say Godfather is one of the greatest movies.
2.
Ever
Godfather 2.
You prefer that one?
Yeah.
I hear both.
De Niro and Pacino.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's De Niro and Pacino. Don't get me wrong, Marlon Brando is great in Godfather 1, but it's Al Pacino or Robert De Niro. I'm going to have to go watch that after this.
Michael Mann, early Michael Mann, like Thief.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff. I like also movies from the late 70s, early 80s that have electronic scores to them.
Oh, yeah.
Like kind of pulsy, old electronica. And
Blade
then,
Runner.
Yeah, dude,
Right.
great example.
Yeah.
And then Nicholas Winding Refn is a more recent director who did like Drive, and he's got Neon Demon out in the theater right now.
Which everybody's saying is really good.
He's nuts, dude. He's the most awesome singular vision director I think working right now. And what I love the most about him is most of his movies get like a 50 on Rotten Tomatoes, and that just shows like they're not for everybody, you know. But I really like that.
Did you know that he recently said that he wanted to do a Batgirl movie?
I just saw that today.
Yeah.
I wonder about somebody with such a singular vision being able to assimilate, especially with all of the shakeup over at Warner Brothers right now. It's like you got to step in line, and if you don't do it right the first time, they're just going to axe you, put somebody else in there right now, because they're very reactionary over
Sure.
at Warner Brothers right now,
Very, very much so.
for obvious reasons.
They had a movie.
Yeah.
Did well.
Just out of curiosity, Batman v Superman or X-Men Apocalypse?
Yeah. Turn my thinking cap around.
It's tough, right?
I'm gonna go with Batman vs Superman. I am.
What's your reasoning?
The action in it was so much better.
Yeah.
So much better. Not only that, Apocalypse was just kind of there. Like, He's there. I mean, he was there, but just there. I don't know. I don't know.
I kind of am with you, man. I feel like the X-Men movies, if we took Apocalypse out, we'd still have 5 X-Men movies. We'd be okay. We've never seen Batman and Superman together on film.
Right. It
had problems, but like you said, the freaking action. Zack Snyder's a very visionary director.
Sure.
I get a lot of grief from fanboys about my thoughts about Zack Snyder, but not to take away from what he does visually, because he's the guy who uses the comic book source material as a storyboard. Yeah. So you recognize these really iconic images, and that's cool. And he did a great job with 300. It's just, I don't feel like he works with his actors as much as he needs to. He's like, you know what would look badass? And that's his big focus, you know?
Me and you had this conversation once before where I said it would be cool if he dropped down to like being a cinematographer, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like for somebody like Christopher Nolan, you know, who's very story driven, and then he has these epic action Zack Snyder scenes in it.
It's a great idea. Or even like Ben Affleck being responsible for kind of herding in the actors and pulling these good performances out of them, like he did with Gone Baby Gone, and then later The Town.
Right.
Which, if you guys haven't seen The Town and you want to see Jeremy Renner in a really scary freaking role, that's great. You know, like it's not Hawkeye, and if that's how you know him, I think you should definitely go back and check out that.
Definitely don't check out his Bourne movie.
No.
Let's skip that one.
Yeah.
Just over.
Granted, it probably made people all that more excited that Matt Damon's back.
Right.
You know,
Right.
The alternative.
Right. But getting us sort of back on track is we're doing a neat kind of thing, and we're like, let's just go over here and see what happens. Do you... What's your most favorite? Okay, how about this? Favorite piece of equipment that you have that you absolutely have to do your show?
It's got to be the Yeti right now. The Yeti it's versatile. I can use it for my own videos. I can use it for the podcast. I went out and recorded
It's a microphone, by the way.
Yeah, sorry, the Yeti Blue. It's a multi-directional condenser mic. And it'll just work for any job. Like, a lady wanted me to come out and record a podcast in Destin the other day. And I normally don't bring my studio with me, so I brought the MacBook.
Right.
I brought the Yeti. I set it up on the table, and that was it. That's all I needed to do. You know, mic's the room, so you can get a lot of different things out of that. And then as far as the camera goes, the Nikon. That's a really nice camera, you know. For me, anyways. It's not a professional grade video camera like some other podcasts that we know, but it's a good little digital camera.
It is very, very good. What are you looking forward to for the rest of the year, film wise?
Oh God, this has been a barren wasteland of summer movies.
Which is funny because coming into 2016, we were all like, greatest nerd year ever,
right.
And we're like halfway through it, and it's like, what happened?
Yeah, so much squandered potential.
How did things go so wrong so fast? It was like someone set it on fire.
Yeah, people were so excited about Batman v Superman in particular, you know. Rogue One, I mean, that's something that I love Star Wars. I'm interested to see the way that we're going to take a non-Skywalker story and make a movie out of that. I really also like the fact that Vader is going to be in it, you know. I'm excited to see.
James Earl Jones, back as the voice.
So, I mean, that's one that I'm really looking forward to. Is Doctor Strange coming out this year?
Yes, November.
Sure. That's another one I'm really looking forward to. I like the trailers for that movie. I like how it feels more serious in tone than a Marvel movie typically does.
Right.
The banner that flies at the beginning is black instead of red, just a small little details. And then it's directed by the guy that directed Sinister. His name is escaping me. Frank Derrickson? Scott Derrickson?
Yeah, Scott Derrickson.
And he's great. I love Sinister. A lot of people didn't really care for it. There's one scene, spoiler alert, plug your ears if you haven't seen it, the one scene where all the little ghost kids are running around at the end, I was like, no. But everything else about it I really liked. Not creeped out by kids. It just doesn't work.
Yes, it is.
Yes, I am. That's true. It's not in movie form.
Not in movie form.
Real
children come to his door during Halloween. He's screaming, ah!
Yeah, it's true.
So, where can people find you, Jeremy, either here in Pensacola or out in the wide, wide world to listen to you? Movie reviews are excellent. They are so excellent. You have to listen to him. Where can they find you?
Check out Be Terrible Movies on YouTube. I'm trying to get as many people over there as possible. You can also head over to BeTerribleProductions.com. It's our website. We basically are just sharing the content that we create on these other places, so you can go to SoundCloud as well. But we're all over the place. I'd love to talk to you guys about this stuff. And this is a really cool idea. I think fundamentally bringing these people together that are in the community is it's smart, because it gives us a place to go and like be able to talk about that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Check out his stuff, guys. Jeremy actually produces everything himself by hand. He takes a pair of scissors and some construction paper and does the layout for it, and then puts it's a giant one. It's actually in his house. It looks like kids trying to make fake IDs, right? With a bit. No, I'm kidding. He doesn't and of course, check out the rest of the series of the Nerds of Pensacola. There's a lot of us, and a lot of us doing really cool things.
Definitely.
Like Jeremy, not like me, but like Jeremy.
This guy's got some stuff going on too. Don't let him be served that humble pie.
Well, I'm using Tinactin. It gets rid of the foot fungus. But check out the other interviews and check out what else is on our channel. And of course, my home, Away From Home, Neek the podcast. So from me and Jeremy here, guys, keep it nerdy and have fun here in Pensacola.
Later.